Good morning, everyone. Mr. Abhijit, are you there? Am I audible?
Am I here? Yes, I think I am here. Good morning, and
Uh,
you're definitely audible. Good morning,
okay.
everyone.
Okay. Good morning. Okay. So we will begin. And yeah, everyone, welcome to this webinar and good morning. So we are thrilled to have you with us today for this exclusive session on RRG. This is the second time Mr. Abhijit is with us to explain the concepts of RRG, make it clear, and yes, to guide us through this powerful concept as well. So he's been a market professional with over 2 decades in experience of trading, technical analysis, and research. So he began his career in 2005, working with some of the most reputed broking firms in Mumbai, including ICICI Securities as well as BRICS Securities. So he has contributed extensively in their alternative research and institutional sales. So since 2012, he began his independent market educator, running his own firm focused on delivering high quality, no nonsense training as well as trading for technical analysis. So he's been a visiting faculty in several prestigious institutions such as the NISC Academy, NISM, NIBM. So yes, we are truly honored to have you with us to train the people who are looking at us, looking on the RRG, and just to see how 2026 holds for us in terms of sector analysis. So welcome to this training session by you, sir.
Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah.
Happy to be
Okay.
here.
Yes. So this session will be like a half of where you'll be training, and after that we will be taking up Q&A session as well. So we would advise everyone to just, if you have any doubts or if you have any questions, just jot them down, just make a note of it. So once we are done with it, then yes, we will start taking up Q&A sessions. So you can always understand the whole concept. There might be sometimes where you might get a doubt, but once the explanation is done, you'll be having much more clarity with it.
Sounds good.
Okay. So yeah, you can just share your screen and I'll just give you a confirmation if everything is okay.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. I hope everyone can see the screen and if you can annotate on it, sir, if you can just check all your annotations are perfect.
Uh, Let me know. You should be able to see my.
Yeah, perfect. I can see.
Okay, just one small thing. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So, can I begin?
Yeah, 1 second. So, yes, to all the people who are attending the live webinar, we do have a special gift or special offering at the end of the session. So, we would ask everyone to just stick around so that you will be able to learn as well as get the benefit of this webinar as well. Okay. Yes, Abhijit, you can start.
All right. Good morning, everyone. And I'm pretty certain that you're able to hear me clearly. My screen has been shared, and Rahul also confirmed that. So, winter morning, Sunday, 10 o'clock. So, thank you. Appreciate your presence, which clearly talks about the fact that you have a keen interest in the markets, as we all have. So, thank you once again. And let's get into business and let's understand how we can use RRG, which is a concept of relative strength, which is a tool, which is essentially a way, an avenue, an approach towards figuring out relative strength in a much more visual, colorful, wiggly, warm kind of a manner. It has a nice angle to that. And it's very powerful also, not to forget. And not just from a short term, day to day or week point of view, but let's take a look at the slightly bigger, larger perspective. Before I move on, I think it's important that I quickly run you through a basic, very important, mandatory disclaimer. So please listen to me very, very carefully. Before we begin, I want to make it absolutely clear that this session is being conducted strictly for educational and informational purposes only. Any charts, securities, indicators, strategies, or any kind of a market view that we are going to discuss here are only to aid our understanding and learning, and these are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any security. In fact, we are not even going to talk about any charts or securities. We are going to talk about sectors and the overall markets, the benchmark indices. As of today, which is 11th of Jan 2026, I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. I'm in the process of becoming one. I can share that with you. And I'm not offering any trading or investment advice of any kind. If you choose to take any trading or investment action based on the concepts that we're going to discuss here, you do so entirely at your own risk and at your own discretion. Trading and investing in financial markets involves substantial risk, so you are solely responsible for your profits and losses or losses. So please consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Last but not the least, by continuing with this session, if you continue with the rest of the this particular session, then you acknowledge that you understand and accept this disclaimer fully. Important bit of talk, but now that is done, let's talk about RRG. I'm on the strike analytics page and I am on the RRG section. I can make an assumption here that all of you, most of us, are somewhat aware of this wonderful tool RRG. I did conduct a thorough couple of hours of webinar session like this on the basics. I think it must be a couple of months back. I hope that you've gone through it. If you have, then we are more or less on the same page and we can move on from here. I'm not going to go back too much into the basics of what is RRG and what is a leading quadrant. I'm just going to just touch with it and then move on forward. Relative rotation graph, RRG, is a tool which helps us to figure out that who is doing better in relation to someone else. It's always in relation to someone else. It's always relativity, which is essentially relative strength. Relative strength. Relative strength sits on the foundation that who is strong today, when I say who, the sector or stock, in relation to someone else, has a larger likelihood that they will continue to show strength. The other side of the coin is the sector or the stock who's relatively weaker or underperforming today has a larger likelihood, a greater probability that that sector or the stock will continue to underperform. Now, please understand, all outperforming sectors top out at some point of time, and every underperforming sector bottoms out at some point of time, and that is called sectoral rotation. Sectoral rotations happen on a micro scale, which we can see within a window of just 5 to 10 days. And sectoral rotation happens on a very, very larger scale, where a sector leads a certain bull market and the other sectors top out and bottom out. Sorry for that. I was just receiving a call. I'll just put myself on the focus mode. Right. So it's extremely important that we understand relative strength, but we also understand that what is the basis behind relative strength. The basis behind relative strength is pure price action. I'm using trading view at my end and price action, price behavior, trend, no trend, downtrend, uptrend. This behavior, if this rallies, we will see outperformance. So this RRG reading, the fact that one sector is leading, the fact that one sector is not leading, has, I would say, does not have a very strong predictability that that will continue. It's a anticipation, it's an assumption. Anything can happen based on price. It tells us that who is positioned where. It's like a map. It's like a moving map. It's like a rotating map. Who is positioned where based on their recent strength and weakness. Then you take a look at the price chart, and then you will be in a much better position to take a decision. This is extremely important because I've seen, oh, this guy is doing good, this guy is in a leading sector. It means it's a buy. It means it can be a buy. It means that if you get a buy from a leading sector, if you get a breakout from a leading sector, it's relatively better to take a breakout from a weakening sector or a lagging sector. This is what it means. It does not guarantee anything, of course, and it does not also give you that predictability that this will happen. It's like a map. So we'll keep that back of our mind, because if we don't keep that, we will misunderstand the entire process. I personally use it. I personally use it predominantly from an end of the week point of view. Any of you, if you've followed any my work on my YouTube channel, you will see that for over, I don't know, I probably will have more than 450 end of the week analysis. And I use RRG there just to understand what's happening where and then how I should position myself. That's the most important thing. Okay, so we'll come back to RRG, but before that, we need to take a look at the price. I am a user of Heikinashi charts. Um, I love bar charts also. I've used candlestick charts in the earlier phase of my career, but somehow I gravitate back to Heikinashi. I find it to be way too useful and powerful than what it can be, what it should be. Okay. And keeping that in mind, what we can see over here is the market is at an all-time high. Okay. And what Rahul, requesting you to please use some discretion. Some
Yes, one second.
that was someone just unnecessarily spoiling the webinar, and I've hidden
I have
the.
removed that person. Yes, I have removed that person. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry for everyone for.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, coming back to the Nifty price chart, I want to begin with where we stand right now so that we understand. And beginning of 2026 has been pretty good. Pretty good in the sense that when your market is an all-time high, it's a pretty good thing. But the pretty good may not be reflective in everyone's portfolio. Portfolios may not have gone up the way the Nifty may have gone up, right? 2025 has been particularly, quote unquote, the year of the commodities. No second thoughts about it. We'll take a look at the gold or the silver chart or zinc, aluminum, copper. After a long time, silver has woken up and it has given an exceptional move. And these kind of mega trends happen, especially after mega consolidations. So equity giving us a sub 10%, close to 10% kind of an ROI, it's fine. There's no complaint. But what's next? From a larger point of view, as I'm looking at the Nifty Heikinashi chart, and I was saying that how Heikinashi is far more useful, powerful, and simple than it seems. And so I personally use my entire trading analysis, trading strategy, setups, decision making, all of it comes from Heikinashi itself. So I use a lot of Heikinashi. It's an all-time high. It has given you a breakout kind of a, it's just teased. It's just the all-time high, but it's not flown away. It's not like it has broken and it's gone up 5, 10, 15%. Structurally, it's fine, not a problem. I'm going to come down from the monthly to the weekly chart. When I come down from the monthly to the weekly chart, what do I see? I see exactly what I just mentioned right now is that the all-time high, the last all-time high before the recent ones, we can see that recently we have teased that level. When I say here we have teased, we just inched up and slipped multiple times. This is the weekly chart, so it has happened multiple times. So market is at an important level. The market is trying to break out of an important level, but it's slipping. It's slipping. I have been of the opinion, and you can check with my last month's December end of the week analysis, that I was expecting December to be a flattish month and it should stay range bound. And Jan, we can expect a directional movement in Jan. We are midway there. I'll go a little more micro. I've started with monthly, then weekly, and now I'm going to go to shorter time frame daily. So as of now, the market has not given us any directional clarity as we have stepped into Jan yet. But what has happened is a breakout failure again, especially last week. Now I'm going to go to the daily chart, and now I'm going to show you that yes, it gave a breakout, yes, it failed, and it has opened up on the downside. Now it's back to the previous lows where it was. And just 4 days back, if we were talking about breakout positive, now we will be talking about breakdown on the downside. So the shift of short term sentiment. It is important for us to understand this because we are on the 11th of Jan. My experience over the last 20 years, I've seen that FIIs, generally FIIs, the amount of importance we used to give them back 20 years back or 15 years back, the domestic institutions, of course, are pretty heavy and they are supportive to the overall markets. I understand that. But they do matter. FIIs, we just cannot ignore them. So the, the last 2 weeks of December generally is lackluster. Then they will join back, they will have their global allocations, and based on that, they might pump in money, they might pull out money, and that will lead to some kind of a directional move. Because we are having this discussion in the month of Jan, it is important to understand. We could have had this webinar in, let's say, the month of June or August or July. Then this talk was not important, the talk that I'm giving you right now, right? And so we are vulnerable for a short term trend reversal on the downside right now. Anything can happen. In just 4 weeks, we can go back to the top and we might be talking about bullish breakout. But as we do this on 11th of Jan, Sunday morning, we are vulnerable to a short term breakdown. Possible, highly possible. We will see what happens. Keeping this in mind, now what we will do is we will do our RRG, we will do our relative strength understandings, and we'll try to understand that who is leading the sector, who is leading the market, which sector is leading the market. As we had hit an all-time high, as we are vulnerable for a short-term reversal, who's doing what, who's positioned where, what do we understand from their readings, and how we should position ourselves. Okay? Now, because today's talk is more from the beginning of 2026, Jan, and slightly long term, that is, taking a look at the entire year, it only makes sense that we discuss or take RRG not just 4 5 days, but a little bit more, not from a daily point of view, but we can do it from a weekly as well as from a monthly point of view. Now, how do we decide? When we come here, this is our strike page, this is my RRG section. When you go to the indices, when you go to the indices, you'll see that there are 37 indices, pre-built 37 indices, out of which there will be multiple small caps, multiple mid caps, large caps. There will be total market. And of course, it's a little crowded space. And so what I have personally done is I have created a watch list, customized watch list of NSE sectors, wherein I've kept the core 16 sectors. Apart from these core 16, there are few more, and I'm sure our team of Strike will slowly add them. And it will probably become over a period of time a core close to 19 to 20 sectors. This looks more manageable. 16 sectors, much more cleaner. Now, the benchmark. Benchmark, we have an option. When we are doing sectors, when we are figuring out sectors, we have the option of Nifty 500 or Nifty 50. I always suggest Nifty 500. Nifty 500 makes much better sense. Now comes to the time period, this area. Because our discussion is going to be from the long-term point of view, larger time frame, we're not going to talk about daily relative strength, how the daily RRG is positioned. We should talk from a weekly or let's say a monthly point of view. Let's figure out from the chart. Let's go back to the chart. And can we mark the beginning of 2025? Where did 2025 began? We will see that 2025 began here. This was the first week of 2025. Where did 2025 finish? 2025 finished just one candle back, which was here. So this entire stretch is your 6th Jan 2025 to the 29th of December. This is the last year. Pure visual technical analysis. We are not doing anything fancy. Step number one, The first quarter, the first few weeks, the first few months, we're looking at the Nifty weekly chart. Quick reminder, okay? Weekly chart was more sliding down, continuation of what it was doing before 2025 began. Before 2025 began, it was already 2025 began on a sliding note. It was sliding and it continued the slide. And more or less, it bottomed out here, which was 3rd of March bar 2025. Please understand, please remember that trading view dates are the beginning of the week. So it's always a Monday, see? It's the beginning of the week. So starting of 3rd March. Then after that, it gave us a quick bounce back, then a panic quick sell off, which just lasted for a few seconds and minutes. Bottomed here, create a low here, so that all the weak hand stop losses are hit. Oh, this market is going to fall. And then it gives a nice mega rally, good looking rally. So to be honest, I mean, honest matlab, it's completely my discretion. I consider this to be I consider this to be the actual low because this low was just stop loss hunting kind of low. So structurally, the market made up its mind and bottomed out here. This was just a trick to remove the weak hands. So from here, from that point, if I drop a count and check and go all the way till where the year end, it will be 43 bars, which is 43 weeks out of 52 weeks, around 43 weeks. It has been in a trending zone. We can say this is an uptrend. So a good 43 weeks of last 2025 last year has been in an upward trajectory, predominantly in an upward trajectory, this was a smaller correction. So can we drop 43 bars on the strike? No, the max we can draw is 30, which is fair enough. Let's figure out 30. If I consider this, then we will be doing something like this. This is also completely all right. During this period, a 30 bar analysis, it will give us a lot of tail and we will get some historical perspective. तो करके देखते हैं. Let's do it and let's see how it looks. We come to RRG page again. Over here from the daily, we come to weekly. And the count, we will go max. We can do 26, half of 52. That is also something that we can do. But more or less, tail badhane se, by increasing this count, it will only give us historical perspective that what has been the trajectory. It's not a bad idea to understand the trajectory for the last 30 weeks. We can also, we can also drag this. We can also drag this to start from that starting point and see how things have moved. We can do that also. But I am just giving you a perspective of how we are doing this thing. So over the last around 30 weeks, the market has predominantly gone up, seen choppiness, seen a short-term correction, but shallow gains, and that is what equity has done in 2025. Keeping this time frame back of our mind, we have our 16 sectors. We have a pretty nice, well-crowded RRG in front of us, and we will try to understand them. Now we will break them down one at a time. We can sort them in terms of percentage change. We'll sort them in terms of percentage change. When we sort them, we will get the gainers and the losers, etc. Over the last 30 weeks, what we find is pharma is relatively within the leading quadrant. I'm talking about the leading quadrant. All the sortings happen within the quadrant, by the way. Percentage-wise, PSU Bank is the biggest gainer, of course. We'll come to that. But I'm starting with the green quadrant, which is the leading quadrant. Leading quadrant ke andar, last 30 hafton mein, CNX Pharma is the biggest gainer. And if you zoom in, you will see this is the head of the pharma. This is the last point. I always say this in my end of the week analysis. I always say this whenever I'm talking anything about RRG, that I always like an RRG which is angling like this. An RRG which is angling like this, left to right and down to up, is gaining relative strength and is also gaining the momentum. It can be in the leading quadrant, bahut achhi baat hai. It can be on the weakening quadrant also. It can be on the lagging quadrant also. It can be on the improving. बहुत अच्छी बात है. But anything which is angling like this is good, which means anything which is angling like this is not so good. Now, what's so good and good matlab? It is from the point of view of relative strength only. Do not jump into conclusions that whenever it is good means buy, whenever it is bad means sell. No. I will repeat this again and again as I conduct that these are just positioning and just telling us कौन कहाँ पे बैठा है, from where it has come to this current stage and what it is trying to do. Price dictates everything. So whenever I say that this is looking good, let's not jump on our seat and say, oh, pharma means a big buy. Please, no. So what has pharma done? Pharma over the last 30 weeks that we are taking has improved both relative strength and the underlying momentum. Then it went lackluster. Then it completely lost its momentum. Off late, it has started to pick up. Off late. Whenever you do this, so pharma looks interesting. It is almost at the axis. This is a 0 point and it is almost at the axis. इसका मतलब है it does not have a lot of relative strength. It does not have a lot of position on the right of the horizontal line. It does not also have a lot of momentum also. It is just started to angle up like this. Very initial stage, which means is it creating a foundation for a bigger move like this? I don't know. Only time will tell us. But how should we read this? Pharma we should look it out. We should look at it. We should keep it on our watch list. It has the potential to become a leader. That's what RRG is trying to tell us. With that in mind, now I will clean this. And now in this watch list of mine, I have all the sectors that I track. And I'll come to take a look at CNX Pharma. We'll take a look at the monthly. It's kind of okay, no problem. Closing in, trying to inch back to its all-time high. Weekly, we can see that it has been particularly choppy. And right now, off late, it has trying to give us a breakout. I'm not going to go to daily. The reason on the daily, the Nifty daily I discussed was from the point of view of sharing with you that at the beginning of Jan, the market is on the verge of giving us a short-term breakdown. So वो समझना important है. Now all the rest of the discussion will be from an intermediate to larger long-term point of view. So pharma looks promising. RRG. So आप क्या कर सकते हो? What I do is I keep 1 point for relative strength. I keep 1 point for price analysis, and there are various other points. But the key points are, so what is my RRG telling me? The RRG is telling me it's promising, it is improving. And what is my price action telling me? The price action is also telling me, yes, it is improving. There is no negative signs. Most of the reading seems to be positive. When both of them are positive or merely more or less positive, then what you should do is you should drop down to the individual stocks. Preferably top 5 to top 10 stocks के अंदर आप रहेंगे तो काफ़ी है. You should sort the stocks starting with which has the highest weightage. ऐसे करके sort कीजिएगा and then check that if pharma relative strength continues, if pharma continues to give a breakout, then which stock is offering that breakout? See, pharma cannot give a breakout. Only the stocks which are in pharma, only if they move, then the derived entity CNX Pharma will move. Everyone understands. So I'm bullish on pharma does not mean that I'm bullish on all the top 10 stocks of pharma. ऐसा हो सकता है, ऐसा ही हो रहा है. It is happening in a very selective manner that only maybe 50% or even 30% of the stocks are moving. And if those 30% stocks are at the top 30% stocks, the pharma index will move. So this is the route, this is what you have to follow, the protocol, right? So we started off with pharma, and you can write it down, you can keep it back of your mind that pharma is improving, pharma has a potential. I'll repeat once again. Just because pharma has a potential looking at RRG and price does not guarantee that pharma will behave like a classic RRG and बहुत relative strength gain करेगा और 2-3 quarter बहुत अच्छा चलेगा. Anything can happen. We will see examples. It can straight away go like this. It will go like this. It may go back like this, go back to lagging if price falls. Everything is relative. So price behavior of pharma divided by the price behavior of Nifty, numerator divided by the denominator. Fine. So pharma, not bad. Now I'm taking a look at Nifty Bank. Now, whenever I discuss Nifty Bank, it makes sense to discuss Nifty Bank, private bank, financial services, and the PSU bank. They make up the maximum weightage in our market. Nifty Bank or Bank Nifty's journey over the last 30 weeks has been interesting because it has covered all the quadrants. 30 weeks back, it was weakening, kind of underperformed. Then around halfway, it picked up. This is the nice. Remember this area? I always tell you that any RRG which is angling like this is a good RRG for me. Right now, what is happening? The positioning, it's on the leading quadrant. Relative strength, yes, it is there. Momentum was there a couple of months back, but now the momentum is slipping. So what should be my RRG? What should be my strategy based on RRG? I should be looking out for long trades because it's in the leading quadrant. The relative strength is slowing down. It can always pick up. It can always fall further down. Again, everything based on price. So like I kept pharma in my watch list for positive move, I should keep Nifty Bank also? The answer is yes. Nifty Bank enjoys a lot of weightage from private banks, and that's why private banks RRG or private bank chart and Bank Nifty chart will behave more or less 99% of the time similar. But they are also made up of few PSU bank, and PSU bank is where we have the huge maximum amount of relative strength at this juncture. Now, PSU Bank, we will spend little extra time here because if I zoom in, I want to give you some understanding perspective. If you understand that before the mega move of PSU Bank came this year, last year, there was a stage where it was not having enough clarity. It was within a very narrow range, the RRG, where it lost relative strength, and momentum, then picked up. Momentum is a leading indicator. Momentum पहले सुधरता है, उसके बाद the direction. So momentum पहले गिरता है, उसके बाद maybe the RRG. So at this juncture, PSU Bank, fantastic in terms of relative strength. Not good in terms of momentum of relative strength. So obvious thought process, yeah, if momentum is losing, ये तो फिर weakening में आ गया, then तो it will weaken like this, then it will not outperform, etc. May or may not be the case. This is all telling us that it has huge relative strength. It does not, it's losing the momentum. Okay, I've understood. करना क्या है ये बताइए. What should be my strategy? Your strategy should be looking out for long trades because it has the best relative strength. But you should wait for the revival, the reversal. ठीक है? Keeping that in mind, पहले बैंक निफ्टी देख लेते हैं. Let's take a look at बैंक निफ्टी. The monthly chart of Bank Nifty will tell you nice and easy, clean, all-time highs, holding fine. Come down to the weekly, and then you see an all-time high. It has slipped a little bit, but overall structure, it's not like a angling down. And आपके chart पे, if you put moving averages and lines and all that, most of them will be on the upward trajectory. We are not talking short term, we're talking intermediate to long term. So Bank Nifty definitely is a candidate, is a sector which has potential just like the pharma. It's a good thing. Why it's a good thing for the overall market? Because Bank Nifty has a very good weightage. If Bank Nifty moves, it will help the Nifty. With that in mind, can we go to the private bank? Same story. Monthly. I have this line drawn, this scan. If we are having this discussion today on the 11th of Jan, if the market sees a breakdown out of this rising wedge, it can be a serious breakdown if it happens. Then probably, you know what, we should do this once in a quarter to revisit. Jan May we met, we had a strategy, we had a plan of action. 3 महीने बाद what the market did and should there be any distinct change to our strategy or not? Generally, yes, because 3 महीने में a lot of things change and our strategy, our positioning also needs to change. So private bank, very important juncture. I would say very important because this is exactly how the 2007 top happened. PSU Bank will give you a different picture. PSU Bank is extremely strong. We had a wonderful rally. but it's likely to get stretched and tired a little bit. So jab tak the private bank does not pick up, take it up from the PSU bank just like a relay race, Bank Nifty will struggle. Bank Nifty needs support from the private banks. So keep an eye on the private banks. If we are expecting that Bank Nifty's RRG, which is behaving like this, will more or less continue to gain some relative strength, maybe go up. If Bank Nifty continues to outperform, be in the leading quadrant or more or less आसपास इस area में, private banks have to pick up. It has to. So keep an eye on that. Pharma, private bank. Financial service, also more or less the same. So आप financials को, private banks को watch list में रखेंगे along with pharma. These are the sectors we are discussing wherein if the market goes up, are we getting leadership from them or not? We have the mid cap 100 here. I have the mid cap 100, which does not have a lot of relative strength. And it has been losing momentum, then picking up, but it has lost quite a bit of relative strength. If you take a look at the mid cap chart, आपको much better all-time high and slowdown दिखेगा in the short term, just like the Nifty. But the small cap has underperformed distinctly. Small cap is here. Small cap's all-time high is up here. Mid cap is at an all-time high. Small cap chart is giving you one leg sell off, a little bit of bounce back, and then opening up on the next leg. So small cap se dur rahiye. That is something that I've been also sharing in my end of the week talks for quite some time. Mid cap, selectively mid cap, selective mid caps, not bad. Again, when we talk about mid cap, we are not talking about a theme. We are not talking about a sector. तो आपको mid cap top 10, top 20, 25, depending on how much stocks you want to track, आपको वो देखना पड़ेगा. You have to keep an eye. And another important sector, and this has like a gives me like a dragon kind of a feel. Nifty IT. Nifty IT was the weakest, the second weakest after media. Then it started to pick up relative strength, slow and steady, and then a big move. It is giving us a very good looking RRG. It has supported the Nifty over the last 2 to 3 months. The best thing about the discussion that we are having as of now, अब तक जो भी हम लोग ने discuss किया है, the best thing is in the leading quadrant as we have stepped into 2026, we have banks, we have private banks, we have financials, and we have IT. Matlab, the market's top two sectors are there positioned. So RRG is very well positioned for at least the first quarter of 2026. RRG is giving us a good platform to begin 2026. See, banks are in a leading quadrant, private banks are in a leading quadrant, IT is in a leading quadrant. और क्या चाहिए आपको? 60 almost 60% weightage तो आपको आपका leading quadrant में है. Which means that if they continue, this is the main thing. If they continue, then the first quarter of 2026 will be very good. That is what they are. That is how they are positioned. That is what we understand from there. It does not guarantee. Everything comes from price. And with that thought process, when I come to IT and I take a look at the monthly IT, we see significant long-term underperformance. Long-term, matlab, we're looking at it from the point of view of where are you positioned vis-a-vis an all-time high. That's it. And it is picking up. For the last 3 months, it's picking up. Weekly chart, if we take a look, it has done very good. It has supported the market back to an important high from where it had fallen. So are we going to see this breakout? Are we going to see this revival, breakout, further rally? If yes, then this will continue to go up. If no, if it struggles, then it might start to lose momentum. This is what we have to keep in mind. But overall, not bad. We have the top two sectors and pharma in the leading quadrant. So our plan of action, keep an eye on pharma, banks. Private banks is very important because PSU banks will get tired. And then IT. So that's a bullish footing. That's not a bad footing at all from an RRG point of view. It's a bullish footing. It's just because the map is bullish does not guarantee the outcome will be bullish. मैं बार बार every time whenever I discuss in my classes also and when I'm talking to someone, I keep on repeating these things because the mind thinks, oh, this is bullish means price is bullish. Now, we have covered with leading. After covering leading, where have we reached? We've reached that banks, IT, and pharma. Within banks, private needs to play a role, make or break stage. And also, on top of it, Nifty on a short term point of view is vulnerable. तो ऐसा हो सकता है, it's possible that we get bullishness from these sectors, but एक hiccup के बाद, if the Nifty breaks down, all these will come down. All their relative strength, probably they will lose it and the momentum will come. अब आते हैं weakening पे. In weakening, we have PSU Bank, we have already covered, and we have auto and metal. Both auto and metal are very, very similar. They have their distance from this point is quite a bit. So they have the relative strength. They were losing momentum, and off late they have started to pick up momentum. आपको याद है? Do you remember the PSU Bank chart? The PSU Bank RRG chart? You see over here? They had relative strength. They were losing momentum. Then they started picking up momentum, and then you give a mega rally. This is relative strength. अगर price में देखें, if we check the price, we will see a good rally. Just because PSU Bank behave like this does not guarantee that auto will also behave like that or metal will behave like that. But that is the positioning. So auto and metal, what should be our strategy? Considering we have to give credit to relative strength. After all, study to relative strength का ही हो रहा है ना. The entire RRG is a study of relative strength. And the sector which has a relative strength, how can I ignore that? And a sector which has relative strength and picking up momentum. So auto and metal both are bullish in terms of RRG. आपको याद है some time back I gave you those two check boxes. एक check box होगा RRG के point of view से, एक check box होगा from the point of view of price. Now we come to point of price. From the point of price, we're talking about metal and we're talking about auto. Let's start with auto. Auto monthly, fantastic. It's nothing we can say, right? Acha, whenever I say fantastic, at the top, everything looks fantastic. At the bottom, every look bearishly fantastic, correct? So I will position myself and strategize based on what I see, not necessarily what can happen and predict. So this monthly chart of auto is not throwing me any signs of worry. So I'm not causing unnecessary stress. Once this chart starts to tell me, show me some signs of divergence or slowdown, etc., I will change my narrative accordingly. Weekly has been particularly choppy, but then has recently picked up. So auto is bullish. RRG is picking up. RRG में relative strength है. Momentum pick up हो रहा है. Price chart is fine. Let's stay bullish. The only thing is when I come down to the top 10 stocks of CNX Auto, I need to be selective. Then go to CNX Metal. Monthly, better than Auto because of the size of the hike and body that I can see. Go to the weekly, same thing. I have a phrase for these kind of charts. Too late to go long, too early to go short if you're into derivatives. So these kind of charts, you should always use corrections, short-term corrections like these. So metal and auto also goes in the leading quadrant and one should be looking out for long trades. Whether they will come or not, that of course price will tell us. So the leading quadrants as well as the weakening quadrants are pretty decently positioned. It's all about what will happen going forward with the Nifty and if the Nifty breaks down, if we see a serious correction in the last half of the second half of Jan, then all these which are positioned to give us a good move will fail. Now we come to the lagging quadrant. We don't have anything in the improving in the last 30 weeks point of view. We talk about the lagging, the one that does not matter a lot weightage wise is media. Huge underperformance and it's picking up momentum. It's not one of my favorite sectors. It's not. And though I track it and figure it out least, you can see that even visually. Where are you? And from where is your all-time high? Where is the CNX 500? Where is the Nifty? So you're talking about a huge underperformer. Weekly, it's just trying to pick up. देखिए, there are multiple mindsets, but there are two main mindsets. One mindset is of investment and trading. One mindset is someone who will go with strength. मतलब जो ऊपर है वो और ऊपर जाएगा and I will buy relative strength. Another mindset is जो सस्ता है और relative weakness उसको मैं खरीदूंगा. This is a contra mindset. This is a contrarian mindset. दोनों ही चलते हैं. क्या एक फॉलिंग सेक्टर कभी बाउंस बैक नहीं देता है? ऑफ कोर्स देता है. क्या एक राइजिंग सेक्टर कभी करेक्शन नहीं देता है? बिल्कुल देता है. सो एज आई स्टार्टेड बाय सेइंग, दैट रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ ऑल्सो हैज ट्रेंड्स. A relatively strong sector does not stay strong forever, thankfully. And relative weak sector does not stay weak forever, and that's why the sectoral rotation happens. Can we predict this sectoral rotation? The answer is let's not get into prediction. Then what should we do? We understand with the help of RRG कौन कहाँ पे है, एंड जैसे जैसे प्राइस बिहेव करेगा वैसे वैसे ये RRG बिहेव करता रहेगा. इट्स डायनामिक एंड अकॉर्डिंगली वी विल पोजीशन आवरसेल्व्स. बट टू पोजीशन आवरसेल्व्स हमें ये डिसाइड करना है विच कैटेगरी आर वी इन. आई कैन नॉट बी एट टाइम्स मैं ये भी करूँगा एंड एट टाइम्स मैं वो भी करूँगा. ये नहीं मतलब चलेगा, but that's not a good thing to do. My experience tells me select anyone. Anyone is fine, equally good. But it's much more meaningful, senseful, and one can understand it for the long term is stay with the strength always. There's enough amount of research done on it. Sticking to the strength is a good thing. आपने देखा होगा with your experience that a strong sector which is expensive continues to stay expensive. A strong stock which is in a very strong upward trajectory keeps on staying. So market premium देता है. It pays extra to someone who is good quality. So it's always good to stay in one bracket, and I would suggest stick to relatively stronger analysis or relative strength analysis. Moving on to the rest. Now ये जो next जो sectors होने वाले हैं, will they become the leader of the future or not? Will they turn around like this? जैसे आईटी ने टर्न अराउंड किया है, जैसे बैंक्स ने टर्न अराउंड किया है. विल दे टर्न अराउंड द RRG ऑफ देम? दिस इज वेयर इट विल गेट रियली इंटरेस्टिंग फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द ईयर. मेरे लिए तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी द सेम थिंग बिकॉज आई डू दिस एंड ऑफ एवरी वीक. ठीक है, सो आई ट्रैक इट क्वाइट क्लोजली. लेट्स टेक अ लुक. In this pocket, the names that I see here, the most important one which enjoys weightage, of course, is Nifty Energy. This is where your Reliance, this is where all these guys fall into. And it's not a very good looking RRG. It has been particularly struggling, losing relative strength, momentum, picking up momentum, improving, now again going back. कुछ भी हो सकता है. And right now, where we are, not good. That's energy. Another sector which is important. अच्छा, another के पहले एक बार इसको देख लेते हैं. Let's get done with energy. Energy, we are looking at monthly and weekly charts. It has not done anything for the last 6-7 months. Okay. This tells us it has a lot of headroom. This tells us it has underperformed and it can fall. So this is also possible. How is the chart? Not good. It's not like bearish, neither is it bullish. It is range bound and it's waiting for either of these to happen. That is a breakout or a breakdown. Come down to the weekly. This week is particularly very important. हम लोग ने ये डिस्कस कर लिया है कि why we are talking from a slightly short term point of view. At the lowest point of the week, we have seen that it has not gone anywhere. So it is vulnerable. कुछ भी हो सकता है. It can break down and follow through. It can break down and bounce back. It can create outside bars. So it is struggling. So stay away from it. मतलब today's research, analysis, homework that we are doing does not tell me to look out for long trades within CNX Energy. It does not tell me. However, please understand, if prices starts to stabilize, if prices starts to go up, if prices gives me the breakout, If 2-3 हफ्ते बाद, 4-5-6-7 हफ्ते बाद, if we see a move like this, then the RRG will turn around Nifty energy. Then the RRG, which is angling like this, it will start to behave like this. तब हम उसको देखेंगे. This is the mindset. When things improve, we start to look at it. When things are not improving, let's not waste our energy. We are not here to pick the bottom. ठीक है? So energy, नहीं, unflag it. Who else is there? Now we'll talk about FMCG and consumer durables together. I always talk about FMCG and consumer durables whenever I discuss them. FMCG, classic, allow me to call it weak RRG, bad looking RRG. Angling down, relative strength निकल रहा है, momentum फिसल रहा है, और ये entire चीज़ हो रहा है lagging quadrant पे. Not on the leading quadrant, not on the weakening quadrant, not on the improving quadrant, but on the lagging quadrant. मतलब खराब एंगल एंड खराब क्वाड्रेंट और वीक क्वाड्रेंट. बट यहीं से तो बॉटम होता है ना. सो लेट्स सी FMCG. Take a look at the monthly chart and you get the picture. I don't have to say much. Not good. Take a look at the weekly chart and it has recently given that breakdown because of a large cap which has broken down. It's not looking good. So price wise or RRG wise, I cannot pick out anything bullish. Once it starts to give me something on the charts, then only will I be interested. This is the mindset. So FMCG, no, not happening. Consumer durables. Consumer durables has just lifted his head a little bit, RRG, which means it's picking up momentum. That's because of majorly, again, only one stock, the one that enjoys the weightage, has given a very good move to the consumer durables. Let's take a look at the chart. Monthly chart. Nothing exciting. It's like midway from this top to the bottom. It's the entire top bottom के बीचों बीच अटका पड़ा है. So nothing great. It has headroom, yes. Can it break down? Yes, anything can happen. From a short-term point of view, weekly, it's extremely choppy. Do you see the length of the upsides? कितने छोटे छोटे upsides and it comes and retraces 100%. Just recently it has given a move. एक ही हफ्ता हुआ it has given a move. Too early to take a call. As of now, consumer durables, देखना चालू कीजिए. But I know that only one or two stocks are looking very good. Once trend improves, once RRG picks up a little bit more, then it will start to look good. So between consumer durables and FMCG, FMCG is clearly weak, no signs yet. Consumer durables, very early signs. You need to be very, very specific, but nothing great. Public sector enterprise, Nifty PAC. Just like energy, it was behaving exactly in this order and now again trying to pick up. Now PAC is not a sector. PAC is a theme wherein you can get defense stocks, you can get bank stocks, banking stocks, you can get manufacturing stocks, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Railway stocks. So let's take a look at CNX PAC. We go to the monthly, again on the verge of breakout. Okay, neither too bullish, not too bearish. Yes, it is stuck in a range. I can see that. Yes, it is trying to break out. Not bad. हो सकता है I can get something. So PAC, you have to sort the top 10-15 names. और ऐसा हो ही सकता है, ऐसा it can be that defense stocks निकल के आए. The defense stocks are showing improvement. हो सकता है. So keep that in mind. Within the PAC domain, which particular sectoral PAC stocks are giving you that strength? ठीक है. Banks हो सकते हैं, PSU banks. कौन बचा? Small cap, we have discussed. This is nothing great. And small cap, I think, will take some time. And then finally, Nifty Realty. Realty was showing momentum, but now it has again gone back, which means that if I go to the Realty chart, first I'll understand the positioning from the monthly point of view. And no, it does not give me that confidence. If I take from a shorter point of view, then it's struggling at this support. So nothing great. Stay away. Apart from this, there are capital market, Nifty capital market. There's chemical. there's defense, there's digital, and there's tourism. These five sectors, last time I checked within strike, अभी तक ऐड हम लोग ने किया नहीं है. So I'm sure once these sectors are added in the index, मैं उनको भी ऐड कर लूँगा. Now, before I start taking your questions, what did we do the last 57 minutes I've been talking? What have we managed to reach? Did we reach any meaningful stage situation or not? From a Let's start from a short term point of view. Let's do the bottom to top. From a short term point of view, Nifty is vulnerable for a serious fall. It's vulnerable. It's only price will tell us. The reason I'm starting this discussion, the final discussion, before I take your questions, with the Nifty is because no matter what the stock looks like, no matter how the sectoral chart looks like, overall Nifty का जो माहौल रहता है, the sentiment on the trend, momentum of the Nifty plays a very big role in almost 70-80% of the sector and the stocks. मतलब if the Nifty falls, of course, there are stocks and sectors which will go opposite, which will show strength. But वो 100 में एक होगा या 200 में एक होगा. So overall rise or fall of the Nifty is extremely important. So no matter what degree of research I do for my sector and my stock, if it is aligned with the Nifty, then my probability is better. I'm sure if you have traded long enough, you have noticed कि सेक्टर सेटअप में दम नहीं था बिकॉज सब चल रहा है वो भी चल रहा है. सेटअप वॉज अमेजिंग, ये तो ब्रेकआउट चलना चाहिए, मार्केट नहीं चल रहा है, ब्रेकआउट फेल होगा, मतलब हाई चांस फेल होगा. नथिंग इज गारंटी. इफ यू अग्री विथ व्हाट आई जस्ट सेड राइट नाउ, then any kind of sectoral analysis or sectoral expectation or stock anticipation has to be in line with what is your view on the Nifty. What do you expect from the Nifty? That's why I'm starting with Nifty. And that's why I'm starting with the micro analysis of Nifty, that Nifty is vulnerable. Let's be very careful. And I want to sound a little serious here because I'm on 11th of Jan 2026. I'm not on 11th of August or July. Because this next leg of Jan can create some kind of a directional movement. Keeping that in mind. So we'll keep that in mind. Number one. Number two, which sectors? So going down to sectors and overall market, I'm sorry. If the short-term view is it is vulnerable for a move, etc., etc., what about the larger point of view? Because we're talking about beginning of 2020. So the larger picture is fine. The larger pictures are fine. It's the smaller pictures, if it comes down, then the larger picture will also come down. So as of now, long-term charts are fine, intermediate charts are choppy, short-term charts are weak. So we are at that crossroads, जहाँ पे if the short-term charts comes down, then the intermediate charts will create this breakdown. And of course, the long-term charts will stabilize. The long-term charts, the monthly charts will go flattish. With that in mind, what did we figure out? We figured out that the top two sectors, the top two bunch of our overall market, banks, private banks, PSU banks, financials, IT, they're all positioned really well in terms of RRG. Positioning in terms of RRG is an important thing. It does not guarantee returns or it does not guarantee a trend. We have to take a look at price. And we did that. We did take a look at RRG kahan hai. Then we did take a look at price kya bata raha hai. And we kind of combined कि आज के तारीख में what is the positioning. And we found, again, banks, private banks and IT, they are potential. They have the potential to rally. Now, whether they will rally or not, only price will tell us. So I should be keeping a lookout for them. We also found that in pharma. We also found pharma very, very initial stage, but kuch ho sakta, it can deliver something. Right. Auto and metal also are good candidates. They have shown strength. They are showing strength. They have the relative strength. They are picking up momentum. So, kyun na we keep an eye on them. On the lagging side, the interesting ones that we found was PAC. The interesting one that can turn out interesting is consumer durables. FMCG, as of now, it's not showing anything. Energy is struggling, but one needs to keep an eye. Small cap, nothing. reality also is at supports. So amongst the ones which are lagging, public sector enterprise, selective energy, and selective consumer durables. This is where one needs to keep an eye. Will they reverse like this? Will someone who is strong over here will come down? That is called sectoral rotation. That's how sectors rotate. इसीलिए, if you do relative strength analysis the way we are doing right now, it's important you do it at a certain interval. I do it every end of week, depending on your horizon. If you're an investor, you can do it once a fortnight or once a month. If you're a short term trader, you can do it end of every day also. But I have seen the quality of relative strength analysis is better if you give it a slightly larger length of time. So I prefer end of the week. It turns out to be very, very useful. Right? So that's the thought process. Rahul, now you can open the floor for questions. Will they be asked using their mic, or will they be posted on the chat box?
No, they will. We will give them the permission to unmute and ask the questions like earlier as well. Okay. So
Is there any
yeah.
need to switch on my video back, or is my video?
Um,
Can you see my video?
I can see your video,
Okay, okay,
but
fine, fine.
yeah, it's not this thing, but yeah. So yeah, before we start this session, we'd like to thank Abhijit sir. So I feel and I hope that for the next 3 months, everyone has clarity on 2026, what it holds. As your sector breakdown has been a lot of is helpful and definitely will add value to the viewers. So before we get onto the Q&A, I just would like to tell that we have a special offer for the people attending the webinar. So we have a yearly subscription of Strike. What all you saw, you will definitely have access to RRG as well as all the other features of Strike. So the offer is we have a 25% off with just 5,000 rupees for an annual subscription. So that is including the 18% GST. So I urge everyone watching who do not have the tool or do not have access to the tool, you can either sign up, get a 7-day free trial, and along with this, avail this 5,000 rupees for a 1 year offer. To avail this offer, I will just put the link and all the necessary details in the chat bar. So you can just go ahead and click and you can make the payment and you will be getting your access immediately. Okay, we will just wait for a couple of minutes. So if anyone was doing that, we'll be able to complete this. Okay, and then we will be taking up for the Q&A. To be a part of the Q&A, you will just have to raise your hands and chronologically we will be answering all the questions. And also, we would like to just to keep your Q&A up to just 2 questions as of now. And then if you still have more questions, you can come back to the queue so that everyone gets a chance to ask their questions and get their clarities on the topic. Sure. Okay, we'll just wait for a couple of more minutes. The link is in the chat bot. I'm sure everyone would have got that. I'm posting it again if it's not visible to you. And if you have completed the payment and if you still need, just drop me a message in the chat. We will make sure that you get all the necessary access everywhere. Okay, so let us begin the session. So first we have question from Mr. Srinivas. Srinivas, are you
Yeah,
there?
yeah. I can hear.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible. You can go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is uh, regarding this distance. There are some curves. These curves turning from the center of the RRG, and some are turning from the, from a distance. Maybe it may be regarding any quadrants. So what is the difference between these things? And my second question is, uh, in the chart the host was using, there is this next RSI. So can you explain that?
All right, Srinivas, thanks for the questions. Let's deal with them one by one. RRG, let me try with a whiteboard Let me try if this works. No. Okay. So RRG has this central point. So it's essentially a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. Anything on the top, or should I start with relative strength? Anything to the right of the vertical axis is positive relative strength, right of the vertical line. Anything to the left of the vertical line is negative relative strength. Anything on the top of the horizontal axis, anything over here is gaining or has momentum or gaining momentum. If it's angling like that, it has momentum and gaining momentum. If it's falling like this, it has positive momentum, but that positive momentum is slipping. It has positive momentum and it is gaining positive momentum. It has positive momentum, but it is losing that positive momentum. Now, your question is that whether it is close to the quadrant or away from the quadrant, what does it has any meaning? A good example will be Nifty PSU Bank. Take a look at where is Nifty PSU Bank and where is it vis-a-vis 0 point from the point of view of horizontal axis. It has a lot of relative strength. It is farthest to the right. In that relation, we also discussed pharma some time back. Pharma is also to the right, but just about. So is pharma in the leading quadrant and let's say PSU Bank just below the leading quadrant? Who has more relative strength? Of course, PSU Bank has more relative strength. So where is the positioning of the sector or the stock in the four quadrants? How has it reached there? And what is the angle of the behavior? These things matter. So PSU Bank, what is the reading? Huge amount of relative strength, has lost the momentum of relative strength, and that is why it is entering the weakening. So how should we read this? Because we are doing relative strength analysis, because it has huge relative strength, it is still a strong candidate. So any kind of a revival, any kind of a bounce back, one should look into. But if it continues to weaken, classic weakness, then it will start to behave like this. That is right to left. If it is moving right to left, then whatever relative strength it had gained, it is giving that back, which is not a good sign. Once it gives back and enters the weakening, lagging quadrant, then it has no relative strength. It is underperforming. That is what it means. Your second question was in terms of my template, I have few proprietary indicators, which is next price and RSI. This has got nothing to do with our discussion today morning. Next price and next RSI are proprietary indicators which we have created in my community and we use it for our analysis. But I have not used it for our analysis. We've kept it very simple and visual, looking at price, structure and everything. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Srinivas, I hope that answers your question. Okay, I've unmuted you to
Yeah,
just
yeah. Thank you, Abhijit. Very
Thank you.
good,
okay.
very clear and I mean very clear explanation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope everyone has gone through the offer that is there. I've made sure that it is available for everyone. If you have not done it, you can just avail the offer by clicking on the link, and once the payment is done, you'll be getting access to your accounts. Next, we have Bhavin Gala. Bhavinji?
Hi, good morning, Abhijit and
Yes.
Rahul.
Good
Thanks
morning.
for having this insightful session. I have two questions. Momentum precedes relative strength, that is well understood, but that there is also a concept of consolidation during which momentum slows down. And
Right.
slowing down of a momentum during consolidation does not necessarily mean relative strength is going to weaken and stocks are or sector is going to underperform, because after consolidation there generally comes in continuation if the patterns are such. So
Hmm.
in such kind of scenario, how do we blend the understanding that relative strength RRG throws out, because that becomes a little counterintuitive.
What's your second question?
Second question was to Rahul. Rahul, if in case we happen to miss such kind of insightful sessions,
Yeah.
is there a recording available for us to go back and see?
Yes, so all these recordings are all available on our YouTube channel as well, so you can always go and look into it. Okay, I will share the
Today's
socials
session
in the
also
chat
will
as
be
well.
available. Okay.
Sorry?
Today's session will also be
Yes,
available.
today's all it is
Okay.
already been live streamed on YouTube as well, so you can always go and check it out.
And another, I would just ask one small question again. Since strike is at a building phase, why don't we, integrate pattern recognition also in the tool?
Yes, we are working on something from our end. We are just trying to introduce new features and all. So once that is set and once we are in the beta phase, definitely all that information will be disclosed to you on what we are building and what all the pattern recognition or candlestick recognition, everything will be disclosed.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now for my answer. So let me try and explain this with a very good example, which I think will be the CNX PSU Bank. Because the PSU Bank chart consolidated during this period. And this is essentially this zone, which was June to August. Just the beginning of September is when it starts to break out, and it's the beginning of June when it goes into the range bound. So June, July, August. 3 months it stayed range bound. Before the range bound, the tendency was on the upside. And after the range bound consolidation, the tendency continued and it went up. This is price analysis. Typical classical price range breakout, box breakout, rectangle breakout kind of thing. With this in mind, if someone continues to do RRG discussion, then can we see that what happened during, we have around 30 weeks. So we can see if we zoom in, then we are going back 30 weeks, back 30 weeks. So this is 27th of June, the beginning. So it starts to just narrow, shallow improvement. And July, it starts to, as you can see, let me draw. This is start of July and it starts to cool off. Then it is underperforming like this. So when the PSU bank was here or here or here, what should have been our narrative? हम क्या बोलते उस PSU chart को देख के, what RRG को देख के? We would have said that, listen, it has relative strength, but it is losing momentum of the relative strength. So strategy क्या होना चाहिए? Is we should continue to look out for long trades. Why? Because it has relative strength. अब देखना ये है whether it picks up momentum or not. If it picks up, relative strength तो है, it can pick up. जिसके पास relative strength है, उसके पास momentum pick up करना relatively easy होगा. जिसके पास relative strength नहीं है, उसके लिए pick up करना difficult होता है. In other words, an uptrending charts after it goes into a consolidation is easier to break out. But a downtrending chart, when it goes into a range bound, it's difficult. It takes more time and volume to give that breakout. Classic technicals, which means this would have been our narrative in this area. अगर ये हमारा narrative होता तो हमारा strategy होता look out for long trades, be very selective, short तो नहीं करना है, ये तो relative strength है इसमें. It is losing momentum, but देखना है कि will the loss lead to a reversal of the trend or will it lead to a continuation of the trend? यही यहाँ पे वही narrative होता. Then after few weeks हम देख रहे that it has started to pick up. Pick up मतलब ऐसे करके ऐसे घुमा रहा है. If you want to zoom in, you can see there. Now this is more or less August. This is this is end of August. End of August 29th. October, September, this is October. 9 कहाँ गया? ये रहा. So this is the area where it is, the curve is going up. This is the area where this breakout is happening. And that's when I say that what RRG is saying, always it has to be in line with price, or the price behavior will dictate the RRG behavior, right? So now when you see the breakout, when you see this kind of a high can and the behavior, टेक्निकल एनालिस्ट क्या बोलेगा? दैट कंसोलिडेशन ब्रेकआउट हो रहा है. आरआरजी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हम लोग इसको, ये जो कंसोलिडेशन था We would have never sound bearish. हम यहाँ पे bearish sound ही नहीं करते. We would have not call it a top yet because हमारा relative strength था. लेकिन उसका momentum फिसल रहा था. जब तक इसका रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ फिसलता नहीं है एंड प्रॉपर फॉल नहीं होता, तब तक हम उस पर बेरिश साउंड ही नहीं करेंगे. तो हमारा स्ट्रैटेजी होगा वेट फॉर बुलिशनेस, वेट फॉर द ब्रेकआउट. और एक्ट कब करेंगे? एक्ट करेंगे जब ये ब्रेकआउट आएगा. अब ये PSU बैंक है. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू ट्रेड CNX PSU बैंक. वी आर गोइंग टू ट्रैक SBI, PNB, BOB, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. अब ये जब ब्रेकआउट आने वाला था, तब ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. इट इज़ इम्पॉसिबल कि इन टॉप 3 4 5 नेम्स में किसी ने ब्रेकआउट ना दिया हो. आई एम साउंडिंग टू कॉन्फिडेंट. सो दैट इज द लॉजिक. क्लियर? डू लेट मी नो.
So, Abhijit, what I was trying to highlight, how do we deal with the dilemma which says relative momentum is the leads relative strength, and once momentum starts slowing, more often than not, relative strength will also decline. But in many cases, we see is like the example also that you pointed out, momentum was losing, but that was because of this consolidation. It did not it did not get followed by lose in the relative strength. So, and I'm not even saying ki we may go short in such phases, but what if we have a long position already? So if we go by the narrative that RRG is throwing, we could have one could have liquidated this long position, not necessarily going short on the stock. So this is the
Understood.
dilemma I'm trying to fix. I mean,
Understood.
I'm trying to decode.
The dilemma is once the momentum has started to slip, will it fall more and go here, or will it reverse like this? In this case, it has reversed. It could have done like this also. Many a cases, this also happens. So, how do I solve this dilemma? Uh, Point number one, the dilemma will only be solved by price action because the price broke out, RRG starts to look very good. So, everything boils down to bhav, price. And then the second layer is I have a position, what should I do? If you have a position and you are looking at this momentum slipping, then आपको डर लगेगा, अरे ये जो कंसोलिडेशन हो रहा है, यहाँ से जो वीकनेस ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है, ये ऐसा हो गया तो. बिकॉज राइट वी आर एट द एज ऑफ द लास्ट कैंडल ना. ऑन द हाइंडसाइड सब अच्छा दिखता है, सब साफ दिखता है, बट एट राइट एट द एज वी हैव टू टेक अ डिसीजन. सो द पॉइंट इज माई RRG इज टेलिंग मी रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ है, बट वो फिसल रहा है, द मोमेंटम फिसल रहा है. Which means कल जाके परसों जाके relative strength can go back and we can get this breakdown, or else this will happen, which actually happened. How do I deal with this as an investor trader? This is the most point because these are all theoretical. What is the practical aspect? The practical aspect, everything boils down to price and your decision making as your in your portfolio. No matter what RRG shows, if your stop loss is getting hit, if you use a stop loss, no matter whatever shows, if your fall is from the top and you said that 10% के नीचे मैं निकल जाऊंगा and it is 10% के नीचे, आप निकल जाइए. You have to be disciplined and stick to your portfolio management rules or risk management rules, right? अगर आपको निकाल के ये फिर से घुमा देता है, ऐसे करता है, then you have to also have that rule in your कि अगर if I get whipsawed मैं फिर से घुस जाऊंगा. So you everything else, मतलब आप ये करो या ना करो, it has to boil down 100% your management rules, your stock picking management rules, your stock exiting management rules, your risk management rules, everything. I hope this is clear.
Okay. Bhavanji, I hope you've got clarity. I have asked you to unmute if you want to just say anything to conclude.
Yeah, which is why, yeah, Abhishek, that answers my question, and which is why I requested pattern recognition and along with RRG would make a lot of sense because in such phases the box will be shown, and once the breakout is there, it will throw upon these screeners, and then it makes very in this helps the trader to be much more selective in their approach.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Abhijit and Rahul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also for people who are watching this session on the live stream, be it YouTube or be it Twitter, we will also be putting the offer description in the link as well. So you can just click on the link and you will be able to avail the offer as well. So just check out the description on either checking on YouTube or you're checking on Twitter. And I hope everyone in the webinar also, if you have not availed the offer, you can just click and you can avail this offer. Okay. Next, sir, we have Suri Sharma.
Yeah, good morning, Rahul. Good morning, Abhijit.
Good morning.
Yeah, uh, Abhijit, you had pointed out to two elements in an RRG, which is the relative strength and the momentum indicator. Okay, so now can you help me understand what would be the relative strength element and what will be the momentum element in this? How do we decipher or how do we interpret it from RRG? Like for example, when you take Bollinger Bands, from standard deviation, you understand the volatility, extreme volatilities. So how do we actually get the relative strength element and the momentum element from the RRG?
So if you're asking about the formula and how the calculations, that we don't know because the
No,
cat.
I'm sorry, I'm asking visually. Is there any way that we can visually interpret it in terms of slope or in terms of anything?
Understood.
One is that a quadrant is there. Yes, definitely quadrant gives you a certain indication of slope, but that could be momentum, which is the downside. There could be momentum on the upside. So momentum is there both ways, correct? But how do we get the momentum element? Whether it is up or down. How do we gauge?
Right. Couple of things. I'll answer your question, but I'll also
Thank you.
suggest and request you that couple of months when I took a similar kind of a session with Strike on RRG, if time permits, please go through that because in that webinar, in that session, I drilled down into the nitty-gritties and the fundamentals of RRG and relative strength. If time permits, you can go through it. But in short, first start with the vertical axis over here, which is the axis for relative strength. And anything that falls to the right of it has relative strength, has positive relative strength. So if it is over here, uh, which is, let's say, the PSU bank, it has the maximum relative strength. Now, that is a positioning, right? Exactly where the dot lies. It can be here, here, anywhere. Anywhere in these two areas, everything has some relative strength. But relative strength gaining with momentum strength or relative strength gaining without the momentum. That we understand from the horizontal axis. Anything on top of it has positive movement to it, but it can be slipping. Positive momentum could be slipping. And so, what I suggest is first understand the positioning, where it lies. How has it reached there? It could have reached like this, it could have reached like this, correct? And to some extent, considering your time horizon, you consider the tail. In this case, we are taking 30 weeks, the max we can take. But on an average, you will see on my end of the week analysis, I take a quarter's tail. So again, how do we read this? Let's zoom in. I'll just take one example. This has just entered the weakening quadrant. Where does it lie in terms of the 0 point? Huge relative strength, but the angle is down like this. So it is a sector which has a lot of relative strength. It has performed tremendously well compared to the benchmark, whatever we are using. But of late, it is losing that strength. That is the situation. Uh, what should be the strategy? You should respect the relative strength and expect further bump ups. Means price should try to go back. Unless price fails, this will start to angle down like this. A good example comparison would be with pharma, which I did earlier today. Pharma also is at a relative strength, but look at where it is from the 0 point. It's just minutely to the right of the vertical line. PSU Bank is here in terms of the 0 point. So both of them are looking good. But PSU Bank has already played a very big role. It has outperformed. It's by a huge margin. It is slowing down. So the way we will deal a PSU Bank and the way we will deal a pharma will have to be slightly different. Take a look at Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is beautifully in the leading quadrant. It has a certain degree of relative strength to it. It's not like it is stretched on the right hand side. It's somewhere here. Off late, it's cooling off. But all three, what should be the strategy? One, what not to do, not to go short. What to do? Look out for revival of bullishness. Look out for any stocks which will give us that upside movement. If I see XYZ, ABC stock giving that bullishness, should I go for that trade? The answer is yes. Why? Because listen, I found a sector, a stock which has relative strength, which is slowing down. Now it is giving me a fresh breakout. Why shouldn't I go for it? That's the logic.
I hope,
Okay.
Suri Sharma, sir, you have got clarity. Okay. So next, sir, we have Mr. Shailesh.
Okay.
Hi, sir. Mm,
Hi.
Actually, I'm attending first time your session or on a strike money,
Mhm.
and actually, I'm not much aware about RSG and all. So actually, मैं इंट्राडे करता हूँ और स्विंग ट्रेडिंग करता हूँ मतलब कि इन
जी.
स्टॉक्स. So how I can we get more benefit from like this strike money or anything which you can help me by picking the stocks for like momentum stocks which can be either
Mhm.
uh, going up or down.
Mhm.
So
राइट शैलेश जी, थैंक यू. आपने इस सेशन में अटेंड किया एंड आस्किंग मी योर क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. तो
जी
स्ट्राइक एनालिटिक्स डेफिनेटली इज़ अ टूल विच गिव्स अस अ लॉट ऑफ डेटा इंफॉर्मेशन जिसको हम समझ के एक प्रॉपर डिसीजन ले पाए, ना कि अंधाधुंध ट्रेड करें. राइट. और वो टूल्स हर एक किस्म के हो सकते हैं, जैसे पैटर्न ब्रेकआउट, जैसे एक जन सजेस्ट कर रहे थे वी शुड हैव पैटर्न ब्रेकआउट्स, और रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ जो मेरा फोटे है, जो यहाँ पे हम लोग आरआरजी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. तो स्टेप वन ये है कि मैं करता क्या हूँ. मैं इंट्राडे ट्रेड करता हूँ, स्विंग ट्रेड्स करता हूँ. मतलब आई एम अ
मतलब कि हाँ
शॉर्ट टर्म.
स्पेशली एफएनओ स्टॉक्स आई डू
हाँ,
ओनली एफएनओ.
आई अंडरस्टैंड.
या
सो पॉइंट नंबर वन इज, मैं व्हाट एम आई डूइंग, मैं शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेड करता हूँ, इंट्राडे टू शॉर्ट टर्म मोमेंटम ट्रेड्स जिसको स्विंग ट्रेडिंग बोला जाता है, और मैं एफएनओ में फोकस करता हूँ.
जी
नंबर वन. नंबर टू, मैं कैसे कर रहा हूँ, दैट इज़ अप टू यू. हाउ यू आर आइडेंटिफाइंग, दैट इज़ योर कॉल, दैट इज़ नॉट माई कॉल. बट क्या मैं इसको और अच्छी तरह से कर सकता हूँ कि कैन आई, ये जो मैं डिसीजन ले रहा हूँ, ये इसको खरीदना है इस भाव पे और इसको बेचना है इस भाव पे, ये डिसीजन के पीछे कोई लॉजिक है या नहीं, और अगर है तो उस लॉजिक पे मैं कैसे पहुंच रहा हूँ, हाउ एम आई रीचिंग टू दैट लॉजिक, और इसको एनालिसिस बोला जाता है. करेक्ट. कोई चाहे तो बहुत एनालिसिस कर सकता है, कोई चाहे तो जीरो एनालिसिस भी कर सकता है. अच्छा लगा खरीद लिया, अच्छा नहीं लगा बेच दिया, वैसा टाइप. माई पॉइंट, माई सजेशन इज, माई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इज, हर एक डिसीजन के पीछे अगर मैं उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना चाहता हूँ तो मुझे एनालिसिस करना चाहिए. सोचिए आपने स्टॉक लिया, वो नीचे गिर गया, आपने किसी सीईओ को जेल गया है या फिर डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने ये बोल दिया, उसको आपने रिस्पॉन्सिबल बोल के आपका लॉस बुक कर लिया आपने. सो उसमें एक ट्रेडर खुद का लॉस या प्रॉफिट का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं लेता है, वो किसी दूसरे के कंधे पे डाल देता है. आई हैव सीन दिस इन माई एक्सपीरियंस. बट एज आई एम अ मेंटर, एज आई ऑल्सो टीच, मैं हमेशा यही बोलता हूँ दैट वी हैव टू टेक 100% रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ऑल आवर डिसीजंस, मार्केट के अंदर और मार्केट के बाहर. और इसीलिए हर एक डिसीजन के पीछे एक एनालिसिस होना ज़रूरी है, एक लॉजिक होना ज़रूरी है. स्ट्राइक इज़ अ टूल, ट्रेडिंग व्यू इज़ अ चार्टिंग टूल, ऐसे बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं विच हेल्प्स अस टू डू दैट एनालिसिस. और उस टूल्स के अंदर जो वेरियस कॉन्सेप्ट है, इंडिकेटर्स, पैटर्न्स, ओवरबॉट, ओवरसोल्ड, एमएसीडी, आरएसआई, हाई कैनाशी वगैरह वगैरह, उनको समझ के आपको एक, यू हैव टू कम डाउन कि मुझे क्या यूज़ करना है. दैट इज़ योर स्टडी, दैट इज़ जहाँ पे वो इंसान सीखता है. जैसे मैंने लास्ट 20 साल में मैं यहाँ पहुँचा हूँ, मैं यहाँ पहुँचा हूँ कि यही मेरा टूल है. अब ये मेरे 20 साल पहले अगर मेरा चार्ट देखते आप, तो ऑफकोर्स ऐसा नहीं दिखता है, बहुत अलग दिखता था. तो एक इंसान को, एक ट्रेडर को एक सर्टेन लेवल तक पहुंचना पड़ेगा, एक स्टेज, नॉट लेवल, जहाँ पे दिस इज़ व्हाट आई यूज़, ये मेरा टूल है, मैं यही यूज़ करता हूँ। और रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ समझने के लिए आरआरजी मेरा टूल है जो स्ट्राइक हमें ऑफर करता है। तो आई एम नॉट टू श्योर कि सर आप कौन से लेवल, कौन कितने सालों से ट्रेड कर रहे हो या फिर कैसे ट्रेड कर रहे हो, नॉट कितने सालों से। तो आपके क्वेश्चन से मुझे ये लग रहा है कि आप इस टूल्स को और
Yeah,
बेटर यूज़ करना चाहते हो, यू वांट टू यूज़ इट बेटर।
yeah,
उसके लिए
yeah.
आपको सीखना पड़ेगा, यू हैव टू लर्न।
सीखना पड़ेगा।
जी जी।
ओके, ठीक है सर।
एक्चुअली मैं लास्ट ये भी बोल दूं कि
Actually, sir, I have very less capital, and sometimes actually, abhi, I'm doing good, but suddenly that Trump news came and I'm in loss. So before how your like tools can help me?
सी टूल्स विल ओनली हेल्प यू टू एनालाइज बेटर। टूल्स तो ट्रम्प को नेगेट नहीं कर पाएगा, करेक्ट।
Yes.
दुनिया
Because
का ऐसा
because market में the sentiment अच्छा ही था. So whatever the like analysis and all now, but because of only Trump like news or all the negative news coming, and suddenly stocks are going down, and
सो इन शॉर्ट सर यू हैव टू गेट इन टू द लर्निंग कर्व, दैट्स द शॉर्ट आंसर। सीखना पड़ेगा।
thank you, sir.
थैंक यू।
ठीक है, थैंक यू। नेक्स्ट वी हैव RAC Bangalore, BLO.
Hello.
या
Am I
हाय।
Hello,
audible?
yeah.
Yeah, Abhijit, I have a small doubt. Okay, what is this tail meaning? That left side section you can see
टेल,
you are
या
presenting, right? Yes, yes. What is the
दिस,
tail meaning?
सी दिस इज द करंट जंक्चर, ओके, दिस इज
Okay,
वेयर इट इज राइट नाउ, एंड
okay,
बिकॉज आई हैव selected 30 weeks,
okay,
so it is going back 30, 1 2 3 ऐसे 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 करके back, it is going to the 30th week back. This is
okay,
the 30th week, this is from where our reading is starting.
okay,
I could have reduced it from 30, we can reduce it to
okay,
10. Now you're looking, we are the same position, the position will not change.
okay,
But what is your journey? How did you reach here? From the last 10
mhm,
weeks, I reached like this.
okay,
So the tail will give us some perspective of how it has fared over that
mhm,
certain period.
okay,
Again, the same thing. If you get time, do go through my previous interaction with Strike. Over
mhm,
there, I had gone into the fundamentals of RRG and how do you select the time period, what kind of time period is good for you, etc.
okay. Yeah. What is that left side? One tail is there, right? Left side, one
Yes,
tail. You can see the name, tail,
yes,
and
yes, yes.
yeah, correct.
This.
What is that bar is meaning?
This
That
bar essentially will tell us that how, for example, for how much tail length it has continuously gone up, if my understanding is correct over here.
okay, okay, within
So
30
it
days, right?
the strength of the tail in the leading quadrant. So pharma, you see very little.
Okay,
How far it is from the tail which is inside the leading, the
okay,
part of the tail which is inside the leading, how much it is inside. You see pharma very little.
correct, correct.
You see IT maximum.
Yeah, correct, correct.
I'm not talking about the entire 30 period tail.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
only talking about the leading quadrant tail. This is the
Okay,
leading
leading
quadrant.
contract only.
Since you
Okay.
entered the leading quadrant, you take a
Mm-hmm.
look at the other side, the media has a longest tail. So since you entered leading weakening quadrant, lagging quadrant, you've
Mm-hmm.
stayed in the lagging for such a long period.
Okay,
On the
got it.
other hand, you
Yeah.
look at PAC. PAC
Mm-hmm.
has just entered the lagging quadrant just few days back, few weeks
Mm-hmm.
back.
Okay.
That this is what it means.
Okay,
Rahul
clear.
can also correct me because this is a technical
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you. Next we have Nikesh.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
Yes, good morning.
सर मेरा डाउट ये था कि सपोज अभी जैसे सेक्टर्स है दे आर इन लीडिंग और मे बी वीकनिंग और उसका आरएस आई है, तो इन दैट केस वो जो टेल रहता है ना एंड का, वो डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग है और अपने जो स्टॉक्स उस सेक्टर में इन केस कंसोलिडेशन फेज में और नियर नियर हाइस ऑल टाइम नियर हाइस में, तो अपन वो एंट्री लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए लेते या नहीं लेते, क्योंकि वो स्लोप जो है ऑलरेडी टेल का डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग।
देखिए आरआरजी का जो टेल है जो एक है पोजीशनिंग और एक है स्लोप। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम लोग आईटी देख रहे हैं, आईटी का एब्सोल्यूट पोजीशनिंग कहाँ पे है? यहाँ पे है, जो कहाँ पे है? लीडिंग क्वाड्रेंट पे है। इसका मतलब उसका रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ इतना है और उसका मोमेंटम इतना है। ये इसका एब्सोल्यूट क्वाड्रेंट हुआ, इसका पोजीशनिंग हुआ, कोऑर्डिनेट हुआ, कोऑर्डिनेट। अब ये यहाँ पे पहुँचा कैसे? ये यहाँ पे है कैसे? इसके पहले क्या था? इसके पहले डॉट से ये करंट डॉट, क्या ये ऐसे पहुँचा, क्या ये ऐसे पहुँचा, क्या ये ऐसे पहुँचा, कैसे पहुँचा वहाँ पे? तो ये ऐसे पहुँचा। कोई भी आरआरजी जब ऐसे बिहेव करता है, कहीं पे भी जब ऐसे बिहेव करता है, इसका मतलब इसका रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ भी गेन हो रहा है, लेफ्ट टू राइट भी जा रहा है और डाउन टू अप भी जा रहा है। तो ये एक अच्छा पॉजिटिव आरआरजी है। मतलब ये स्ट्रेंथ भी गेन कर रहा है और ये मोमेंटम भी गेन कर रहा है। ये वीकनिंग क्वाड्रेंट पे भी हो सकता है, ये लैगिंग लीडिंग में भी हो सकता है, लैगिंग में भी हो सकता है। लेकिन अगर कोई सेक्टर लैगिंग में ऐसा, लीडिंग में ऐसा दिखाए और लैगिंग में ऐसा दिखाए, तो दोनों में कंपैरेटिवली ऑफकोर्स ये ज़्यादा बेहतर है, बिकॉज इट इज़ इन अ स्ट्रॉन्ग क्वाड्रेंट। अब ये सेम चीज़, ये सारे सेक्टर्स आरआरजी आपके स्लोप ऐसे गिरा भी सकते हैं और गिराते भी है, मतलब इसका मोमेंटम फिसल रहा है। अब आपका क्वेश्चन है कि मैं एक स्टॉक देख रहा हूँ, एक कंसोलिडेशन में है और एक ऑल टाइम हाई या एक 52 वीक हाई या कोई भी ब्रेकआउट देने वाला है, और उसका आरआरजी अगर मोमेंटम बिगाड़ रहा है, मतलब ऐसे स्लोप है, तो मैं क्या करूँ? हैव आई अंडरस्टूड योर क्वेश्चन करेक्ट?
हाँ सर।
हाँ, तो इन दैट केस आपको प्राइस, जैसे मैंने पहले भी एक जन का क्वेश्चन जब मैं आंसर कर रहा था, मेरा भी आंसर यही था कि भाव भगवान छे। आरआरजी ऐसे हो जाए, वैसे हो जाए, तैसे हो जाए, भाव इज़ अल्टीमेट। अगर भाव आपको वो ब्रेकआउट दे रहा है तो आप ट्रेड ले सकते हो। लेकिन यार सर, प्राइस ब्रेकआउट तो दे रहा है लेकिन आरआरजी ऐसे फिसल रहा है, मुझे वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा है। सही, दैट इज़ द एग्जैक्ट रीडिंग, दैट इज़ द करेक्ट रीडिंग, कि इस ब्रेकआउट में वो रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ वाला कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है। तो ट्रेडर के पास दो चीज़ है, उस ब्रेकआउट को छोड़ दे क्योंकि उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है, या फिर उसको ले और आधा क्वांटिटी ले, 50% क्वांटिटी ले। लेकिन अगर एक सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ रेंज ब्रेकआउट आपको एक चार्ट पे दिख रहा है जिसका मोमेंटम ऐसे करके गुड लुकिंग आरआरजी है, तो फिर आपका कन्विक्शन होगा। तो एक ट्रेडर को डिसाइड ये करना है कि जब मैं ब्रेकआउट ट्रेड लेने वाला हूँ, तब मैं उस स्टॉक का, उस सेक्टर का जब आरआरजी चेक करूँगा, अगर मुझे आरआरजी ऐसे दिखा, स्पेशली इन दो क्वाड्रेंट में, तो मेरा कन्विक्शन लेवल हाई होगा। अगर मुझे आरआरजी ऐसे दिखा इन सब इन दो क्वाड्रेंट में, मेरा ठीक है, मैं फिर भी ले सकता हूँ, आधा देख सकता हूँ। अगर मेरा आरआरजी वीक रहा तो मैं नहीं लूंगा। ये दिस इज डिसीजन मेकिंग। दिस डज नॉट गारंटी प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, दिस डज नॉट गारंटी कि आपका सौदा सही जाएगा, गलत जाएगा।
गॉट इट सर, थैंक यू।
Okay, thank you. I guess that is the, we have no more questions. If anyone has any questions, you can just quickly raise your hands and get your questions resolved. And for those who are watching on social media, you can always join our WhatsApp channel, or you will be able to get links for the upcoming webinars. Then you can join the webinars and definitely get all your questions resolved. Okay, we'll just wait for a couple more minutes if there is anyone else asking for questions. And yes, if you have not subscribed or if you have not taken the offer, this is the last chance you can do it, because this offer ends once the webinar gets over as well. Okay, so yes, we will wait for a couple more minutes. By then, Abhijit sir, you can just say any closing remarks that you have, and then we'll be able to conclude.
Closing remarks. There are no closing remarks because the market is a dynamic thing. The market never closes.
Yeah.
And for a trader investor, the market, even if the market hours have shut after 3:30, the market goes in the mind and the brain also, even when someone goes to sleep. So
Yeah.
close का तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं है. Once you're in for good. But couple of things is which I have learned my way, which is the hard way, is the fact that RRG or relative strength or anything is just a tool that we are adding and using to our entire decision making arsenal. As I was answering to someone some time back, कि एक certain method होना चाहिए, तो उसमें मज़ा है. There is a certain method if I put into my decision making. Based on this method, I am doing what I am doing. I'm not doing randomly. Because I've seen I've done that myself also, that there is a certain degree of randomness. कभी ये देखा अच्छा लगा कर लिया, कभी वो देखा अच्छा लगा कर लिया, which is fine. कुछ हद तक, कुछ सालों तक ये ठीक है. Because after that randomness, someone realizes, अरे नहीं ऐसे नहीं होगा, सीखना पड़ेगा. नहीं नहीं ऐसे नहीं होगा. सीखने के बाद एक certain method, certain strategy पे हाथ बिठाना पड़ेगा. I have to become really good at it. जैसे एक जन को मैं अभी आंसर कर रहा था कि मेरे 20 साल का लर्निंग अभी मुझे यहाँ पे लेके आया. डज इट मीन कि इफ़ आई लिव फॉर अनदर 20 years and another 40 years of experience in the markets, will I have the chart looking like this? High chance yes, और high chance इससे और थोड़ा सिंपल दिखे, हो सकता है. बिकॉज माई अप्रोच इन माई लाइफ इज़ सिंप्लिसिटी. तो जैसे मेरा चार्ट 20 साल या 10 साल पहले दिखता था, आज के तारीख में वो चार्ट उससे 80% सिंपलर दिखता है, क्लीनर दिखता है. और उसी को अनलर्निंग बोलते हैं. तो जब हम
Yeah, correct.
सीखना चालू करते, वी लर्न, वी अप्लाई, एट टाइम्स हिट मिस. मार्केट्स इन अ बुल मार्केट, ईजी मार्केट्स, मार्केट नॉट इन अ बुल मार्केट, टफ मार्केट्स. देन वी अंडरस्टैंड कहीं ना कहीं से कोई ना कोई कुछ ना कुछ बोल ही देता है, कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ ना कुछ हो ही जाता है, विच लीड्स टू डाउन ट्रेंड्स एंड अप ट्रेंड्स. इट कैन बी द फाइनेंशियल market crash in 2008. It could have been COVID. Now someone might be saying 50% or 500%. ये सब ड्रामा है. एंटायर फ्लो में कहीं ना कुछ ड्रामा होते ही रह रहा है. शॉर्ट टर्म ड्रामा, लॉन्ग टर्म ड्रामा, दीज आर ऑल ड्रामा. आई लाइक टू यूज द वर्ड ड्रामा. But the thing flows, the thing keeps on flowing, the asset keeps on flowing. And इस entire flow में मुझे position करने के लिए, for me to position myself, I need a certain method. The method has to be simple, the method has to be robust. I have to have conviction in the method, and over the years I have to become better at it by keeping it simpler, not making it complicated. मैं complicate करना नहीं चाहता, मैं simple करना चाहता हूँ. और इस एंटायर कॉन्सेप्ट में अनलर्निंग आ जाता है. बिकॉज वंस वी हैव लर्न क्वाइट अ फ्यू थिंग्स, एक सर्टन लेवल के बाद वी स्टार्ट टू अनलर्न, हम घटाना चालू करते हैं, एंड देन वो उभरना चालू होता है. देन इट स्टार्ट्स टू मेक सेंस. आई थिंक ज़्यादा बोल दिया, बट दैट्स व्हाट आई ट्राइंग टू
No, I
explain.
think so. It is very true because as they say, no, too many cooks spoil the broth. So you have to keep it simple. You have to just see what works for you instead of like every time looking for new, something learn, trying out hit and miss, hit and miss. Over a period of time, you will yourself will understand what works best for you, and then
Right,
refining that over a period of time, then you will start seeing the accuracy is what you're trying to achieve, not the
right,
number of trades or like in terms of
right,
what we want.
right.
We have one more hand raised. Mr. Atul is there. So that will be the final question. Okay,
Okay.
Atulji,
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone.
good morning.
Thanks for this session. I'm using this software for quite a while. The only thing which projects into my head is like when I'm looking into the various dimensions, the sectoral or the indices, right? It shows a very elaborative, high level perspective. But when I looked into the uh, individual stocks on the each, say, segment or domain or specific indices like auto, it shows auto is up, metal is up. But when I get into the sectoral for the individual stocks itself, it gives a very distorted picture to me because most of the stocks either go into the lagging or they are drooping down from the leading, or some of them are even the improving one also. So how do we like look into it? Should we look into the daily perspective or a weekly standpoint? And then because if somebody makes a mind that okay, based on the overall trend and overall economic slowdown or various other turbulences, which sector is picking up, and then which stock should we take into consideration, weekly or daily, or what kind of time horizon would you suggest on that?
All right. So I always suggest to use the weekly for for the understanding of relative strength and sectoral dominance, underperformance, sectoral rotation. I have personally used it on the weekly for many years. I started RRG back in 2009 on the Bloomberg. Again, all these basic concepts of RRG I covered in my previous interaction with Strike. You can check that. Now, whether someone will use monthly, weekly, daily में 20 days, weekly में 12 weeks, etc., it depends on outcome क्या चाहते हो. If the trader is looking for a if he's a swing short-term trader and is looking for 4, 5, 6 days kind of a trade, आज लिया 3-4 दिन में निकाल दिया, that kind of a quick trade, then weekly okay, but he or she should also take a look at daily. Having said that, it is my understanding that the shorter time frame you trade, the quicker trades you do, जितना कम इस्तेमाल करेंगे उतना अच्छा, because over there you're just trading quick momentum. So your 100% focus should be on the momentum of the market. जितना आप longer time frame trade, if I want to invest and hold for 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, then of course I would like to see which sectoral behavior it is doing and things like that. Essentially what I'm trying to say is जितना short term trading है उतना analysis आप कम करो, price पे focus करो, उतना अच्छा है. जितना आप long term करोगे, I think it is required to hold on to a stock or a company and understand the fundamentals also a little bit. Not deviating too much, basis of your trade horizon. If you're a short term trader, use the daily. If you're using the daily, use around 20 bar, 20 period. So you will come to RRG over here, change the weekly to daily, यहाँ पे, and the count you will keep around 20. 20 rolling matlab you're looking at 1 month, 20, 21 trading days in a month. So this is what you will look at. अगर आप daily use कर रहे हो, इससे क्या निकल के आएगा? You will be trying to attempt trades which will last for minimum 4-5 days, kind of a quick move. I personally have used RRG primarily end of the week, and I always more or less tend to take around 12 to 13 weeks, around a quarter, because मुझे strength समझना है which sector is doing what and how it is moving from a quarterly behavior, which will help me to position my trades. And these trades are not 2 to 3 day trades, it's slightly longer than that. So your time frame, number of count of days or weeks or days or months depends, is a function of your decision making. आपका जो trade है उसका time period के ऊपर depend करता है. Now whether the trade will be 5 days, वो तो मेरे हाथ में नहीं है. हो सकता है मैंने 5 दिन के लिए लिया था, एक दिन में ही 10% भाग गया, तो मैं एक दिन में ही निकल गया. That is left to price. But am I doing a short term trade, or am I doing an intermediate positional trade, or am I doing a buy and hold? It's a function of that. Better to stick to the weekly, Atul. That's what I would suggest strongly. All right.
Thank you, Abhijit. I think so that is it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you for this session. I hope everyone has got a lot of insights. So yes, we do keep hosting regular webinars on Saturdays or Sundays. So yes, definitely do follow our socials. We'll be putting out links for registrations over there. Okay. Hope to see you guys in the next webinar. Thank you, Abhijit sir.